And so these are adaptations, some modifications, and all you would need is a couple of chairs and a small stool to help, and maybe a pillow for comfort.
So we'll start this hip routine with hip rotations, and they're essential mobility exercises for your hips since these involve muscles that rarely get directly used during most of our daily activities, especially if we sit most of the day. And even when we're good about getting up to walk and stand at work, we still don't take our hips into these full ranges of motion. So you'll see that rotations are a big part of this mobility routine. Here we see Svi using a stool and a chair. The shorter step stool makes the exercise a bit easier, so it can be a great idea to warm yourself up to all the exercises in this routine using a stool. But you can for sure use another chair right away if you're able. Here you'll see crossing his ankle over the other knee. This allows you to push with your hands to get a little bit further range. I don't think you need to push very hard. You should feel a good stretch with a very mild discomfort. But if it seems like it gets worse or gets painful as you continue, then you're pushing too hard. Next up is Piriformis Stretch. It's an interesting muscle. It's been implicated in a lot of various aches and pains in our hips, buttocks, legs. And this is a classic flexibility exercise where you cross your leg and pull your knee to your opposite shoulder. So you see here first he's pulling it in a nice rhythm, and after about 10 reps or so, he holds for a few seconds into the stretch. The important thing to remember here is to keep your upper body tall and lift your chest. When you do this, you don't have to pull your knee very far to feel the stretch. Up next, the butterfly, and this is to open up the inner thighs, which are often very tight in a lot of people. So sitting in a chair and using a step stool to place your feet on is an excellent way to get started on this with less discomfort. Here you want to actively pull your knees apart as you lean forward. Using your elbows to help is great, but concentrate on actively using your hip muscles to pull your knees toward the ground. You can also do one leg at a time, where you keep one leg stable and the other one moves and stretches. And once you feel comfortable, you can raise the height of your feet onto another chair or simply do this on the ground. Up next is the frog, and this works on the inner thighs as well, but as opposed to the butterfly, this time you lean back in your chair. This gives a bit of a different angle to the muscles. And again, concentrate on actively pulling your knees apart and use your hands just to assist. Here we have the kneeling lunge, and it's again another classic stretch for the hip flexors, but this time we're going to use a chair to help. So this will help you feel more stable and comfortable, so you can focus on the movement and what you want to do instead of feeling off balance or straining to maintain the position. So you're going to sit on the side of the chair where you have your leg onto the side. Keep your chest up tall. Tuck your tailbone underneath you by squeezing your buttocks. This will put you in the best position for stretching the hip flexors. Next is squatting with hip rotations, and so you're going to use the chair to practice rotating your hips while you're bearing weight through them. Grabbing a hold of the back of the chair, squat down as low as you're comfortable while still keeping your heels on the ground. So you may have to place the chair more in front of you, lean back into it. That often helps with your balance. If you feel like you can't squat down without assistance, this is a really good way to do it. Doing this with weight through the hips is a really nice stimulus, and using a chair like this helps you to place yourself in a position where you can do this more comfortably. Last is called the pigeon, and we're modifying it using two chairs. You place one knee up in front of you while the other leg is on the ground to the side with your foot on the floor. This makes it a lot easier for most people to get into than doing this straight on the floor. So keep your back straight and lead with your chest as you lean forward into the stretch. You want to feel that you're leaning forward towards the knee.